Hello, readers. We've been talking a lot about different reading strategies that we can use when we're reading words in our stories. These strategies can help us to figure out words that we don't know. Well, today we're going to spend some time putting all of this together. So, as we're reading a new story today, I'm going to show you what it looks like when I get stuck on a word, and I try to figure out which reading friend I'm going to need to help me. So, today I have a new story that we're going to be looking at. And I want you to watch and notice what I do when I'm getting ready to read a new story for the first time. The first thing that I always do is I look at the cover. And as I look at the cover, I'm getting my mind ready to read. So I'm thinking about what is going to happen in this story, and then I figure out what the title is in the book. So today on our cover, you can probably help me. What do you notice? Yeah, there's a leprechaun. And I'm noticing lots of shamrocks. So I'm thinking that this story is probably going to be about a leprechaun. Now I'm going to try and figure out what the title says because I think the title will probably give me some more clues about what's going to happen in the story. And right away, as I look at the title, I'm noticing that there are some of our sight words in the title. Can you look closely? Shout out some of those sight words that you see. What words do we already know that are in our title? Let's try reading a few together. My, you, have. So those words we can read in a snap because there are sight words and we know them. Now I want you to watch and notice as I'm reading and I try using some of our strategies that we've learned about. Have you, Let's look closely at that word. I also wrote it on my card today. When we look closely at that word, I'm noticing that I can use chunky monkey. There's a chunk of that word that I know. And reading that chunk is going to help me to read the rest of the word. Do you notice a chunk? What chunk do you notice? You're right, that word see. Now let's put that sound on the end. See, seen. Let's try it in our title. Have you seen my... Can you help me tap out the sounds in that word? Let's use Stretchy the Snake. We'll tap out the sounds and we'll put them together. P, a, t. P, a, t. Pot. Have you seen my pot? Skip, skip. G, g. Oh, I know that lots of times leprechauns hide what? Gold. That word starts with g. Could that be the word old? It looks like gold all the way through. So what could this little word be that I skipped? What would make sense there? My pot of gold. Wow, readers, we just used so many different strategies to help us figure out the title. We used Chunky Monkey to look for part of a word. We used Lips the Fish. We got our lips ready to say the first part of gold. We used Stretchy the Snake when we tapped out the sounds. We even used Skippy Frog when we couldn't figure out that little word of and skipped it and then thought about what would make sense. So when you're reading at home and you're coming to new words, you have to be thinking about what kind of reading friend would help me here. Is there a chunk that I see? Can I say the sounds in that word? And you'll start to notice that as you're reading, you'll be using a lot of different strategies to help you. Are you ready to keep going? So now that I've read that title, have you seen my pot of gold? What do you think the leprechaun's going to be searching for today? Perhaps his gold. Let's find out what he does. Have you seen my pot of gold? Oh, that title's repeating. Can you try that with me and we'll try to make our voices sound like a leprechaun. Have you seen my pot of gold? Go. Let's use Stretchy the Snake. Can you say those sounds with me in that word? Ask. Ask. Go ask the cow. Look at that leprechaun's speech bubble. I'm noticing that he's repeating that same question. So I can read that fluently because I've read that before now. Have you seen my pot of gold? Go ask the... Say that first sound with me at the beginning of that word. The cow might be telling him to go ask what would make sense there? What animal starts with that sound? Oh, a horse. Go ask the horse. Have you seen my pot of gold? Go ask the... Let's tap it together. Pig. Pig. Go ask the pig. Do you think the pig's going to have it? Let's find out. Have you seen my pot of gold? Go ask the chicken. Have you seen my pot of gold? Look closely at that picture. Can you make a prediction? Where might his pot of gold be? What are you thinking? Can you share with me? Were you thinking that the chicken was sitting on his gold? So look closely at that word. Look closely at that page. The words have changed. I'm noticing some of our sight words are there. Can you read a few to me? Now let's put them together and see how the story ends. Is this it? My gold! And how do you think the leprechaun is feeling now that he's found his gold? So readers, when you're reading at home, remember that you have all of these different strategies that you can use when you get stuck on a word. And if you try one strategy and it doesn't work, think about another strategy that you can try. And remember, when you're finished reading your story, spend some time and retell what happened in the story. So take a minute. Can you close your eyes? Think about what happened in the beginning of our story today. Think about what happened in the middle. Think about how it ended. Ask yourself, was there a problem in our story today? And how did our problem get solved? Can you try retelling, Have you seen my pot of gold? Try it. Tell me what happened in this story. Use your own words. Well, today, our leprechaun had a problem. And what was the problem? You're right. He had lost his gold. He couldn't find his gold. So what did he do to solve the problem? He went and he asked some other characters if they had seen his gold. So he came up to a sheep and he asked the sheep, "Have you seen my gold?" And the sheep told him, "Go ask someone else." He came to a cow. The cow told him to ask someone else. He came to a horse. He came to a pig. When he came to the pig said, "Go ask the chicken." And then what happened when he came to the chicken? What did we discover at the end of the story? How did his problem get solved? You're right. All of a sudden that chicken stood up and he said, "Is this it?" And the leprechaun felt much better at the end of the story. Because at the beginning of the story, he was very worried about where his gold was. And then, all of a sudden, he found it hiding under the chicken, and he felt relieved. So readers, this is something that you can practice at home too. After you finish your story, spend some time talking about problems and solutions and all of those different parts in the story. I hope you enjoyed our pot of gold story today.